So welcome to Grumpy Vegan Grandad. My name's Dan and I'm here to tell you about something that's happened, well, not over in the last 24 hours, but has been reported on the mainstream media in the last 24 hours, on ITV News to be more precise. I'm presently on the Manchester Hunt Saboteurs Facebook page. I am in contact with a couple of the Hunt Saboteurs from Manchester Hunt Sabs, and one of the guys alerted me to this. It's also been advertised on Instagram as well. There's been a few notices and posts pointing to people towards the news on last night on ITV. So what has happened? Well, basically, it's Gordon. I don't know, it could be all good news. It could be all good news. It just depends how corrupt it all is. Because what's happened is the hunting body, the governing body for all the hunts in the UK, held a webinar of quite a few hours. I think there was quite a few over. I think it was over last August just gone, and they were talking about tactics of enabling their hunts to maybe hunt foxes by accident. Let's put it that way, by accident. I mean, for those of you who aren't initiated with fox hunting and how these fox hunts still go ahead, basically what's happens is supposedly the day before or in the morning before the hunt, guys go out with a rag on a string, on a rope, with a scent of foxes on them, and they lay a trail, and then the dogs and the hunters follow on horses. Sounds quite okay, sounds reasonable. But what's actually happening, which is being highlighted by the hunt sab groups, is that a lot of the time they're chasing foxes out of cover. They happen to come across foxes on the hunt, shall we say, and most of the time, because that's what these dogs are built for, that's why they're on horseback, to hunt foxes. It's a very lethal machine. These foxes get ripped apart by dogs. That's the outcome. And for years, over 15 years, fox hunting has been banned. For years, the hunt sabs have been saying that this does not happen. They pretend to lay the trail, and then they actually end up coming across a fox. Surprise, surprise. So what has happened is that this group, the hunting's governing body, created some webinars on tactics to use against hunt sabs and how to participate in their bloodlust without getting in trouble with the law. And somebody has leaked these webinars. Somebody who was accessed those webinars, somebody who's in with the hunt crowd, leaked them. Now I asked my contacts in the hunt sabs, I asked them, how were they leaked? By a sympathiser, or did you have somebody undercover? And they replied, someone in the call, but we don't know who. But what they do say is it's usually the case, a lot of our info is the result of infighting in the hunt community. They're their own worst enemy. And, well, this has really put the fox amongst the hounds, shall we say. The guys who received the information were the Hunt Saboteurs Association. The website's there, you can have a look yourself. If you go on to the website, Hunt Saboteurs website, and have a look through the stories, you can find it. In fact, I'll link it down below anyway. And the videos are there, the full videos are there. But what I've got for you guys is a shortened highlight version. But I just want to explain who's in the video, because those of you who are not in the UK, fox hunting with hounds is a posh sport. It's a sport of the rich. It's a sport of the elite. It's the sport of the Masons. Yeah? And this is why it's taken so long to expose these bastards. Because these people at the top of the chain in these hunt groups are very, very influential people. I'll show you who's in this group, in this webinar doing this group. So the leader is Benjamin Mancroft, or Lord Mancroft, a Conservative peer, chair of the Masters of Foxhounds Association and former chair of the Countryside Alliance. Next is Phil Davis, ex-police inspector and police liaison consultant to the Countryside Alliance. Well, fuck me. That's a surprise. Then we've got Mark Hankinson, the Hunting Office Executive Director and former Master of the Wilton Hunt. And then we've got Richard Tyack, Chairman of the Association of Master Harriers and Beagles, Hunting Office Executive Director and former Master and Huntsman of the Wednesday Hunt. And finally, just to arm them even more, we've got Paul Jelly, Master of the Chilmark and Clifton Foot Beagles from 1990 to 2013, and, whoa, a police officer for 30 years. So we've got a lord, we've got 2 ex-long-serving coppers, and we've got some rich businessmen. So you can see it's a pretty powerful lineup. You know, secret handshakes. It's not what you know, it's who you know. This is why they're not being brought to justice. Because when you got friends in high places, you can make things disappear, and you can make people turn blind eyes. But not on this occasion, folks. So I'm going to shrink my lovely black-eyed image right down, put me somewhere here, and I'm going to play the video. Now this is interjected by the Hunt Sabs Association. They've put in their commentary on this, so I will let them explain this. So let's go ahead and play.
Yeah, please take that on board, everybody. It's anything that comes out of these meetings is to be kept amongst ourselves. It's not for general coverage.
And I think the most important thing that we need to bear in mind is that if you've got saboteurs out with you in any shape or form, we need to have clear, visible, plausible trail laying. being done.
Plausible. Right? Why would you use the word plausible if what you're doing is totally innocent? If I'm driving my wagon and I want people to believe that I've got a license to drive that wagon, I'm just going to drive it. I'm just going to drive it down the road. I don't need to be plausible. I don't need to do anything extra to be plausible. I don't have to get out and start waving my license about just to be plausible, because I'm qualified to do what I'm doing. Why do they need to be plausible? So the alarm bells are ringing and we're not even 25 seconds in yet, you know?
Throughout the day.
In February 2005, the Hunting Act became law. The Act banned the hunting of wild animals with packs of hounds. However, instead of disbanding, fox, hare, mink and stag hunts immediately claimed to have switched to trail hunting, pursuing pre-laid scent trails through the countryside. Within days, hunt saboteurs realised that trail hunting was simply a smokescreen designed to disguise illegal hunting. While this simple ruse didn't fool hunt saboteurs, it did fool police forces, politicians, and bodies like the National Trust for many years. The video that you're about to watch, featuring those who run hunting in Britain, finally lays bare the full extent of the trail hunting conspiracy.
I don't think it's good enough just to have your huntsman ducking and diving.
Where's your trails?
In the old days, when I say the old days, a few years ago, we used to say that if you were caught out by the SABs and ended up in court, you were bloody stupid. We've had a lot of successful prosecution. When I say successful, they've been successful. We've been the ones that have been caught out. Problems with the saboteurs, and even with just sort of little old ladies filming us. Sometimes you may not see anyone, but they could well be there lying in wait, filming you, and you won't know that they're there until they either do the classic drive-by at the end of the day when they try and get a close-up of your huntsman's face, or you get the inevitable phone call 2 or 3 months later when the police turn up at your door or say, will you come and tell us what was happening. It's a lot easier to create a smokescreen if you've got more than one trail layer operating. And that is what it's all about, trying to portray to the people watching that you're going about your legitimate business. Obviously, it's important for the trail layers to know where you're going to go. Give them a brief beforehand. Tell them what your order of draw is.
Order of draw, the planned route of the hunt. Here, Hankinson is advising that huntsmen tell the trail layers their route. This ensures that the trail layers can be ahead of the hounds to put the smokescreen in place.
And if it changes for any reason, let them know. You've got to have clear communication, but you need them out in front, clearly visible. It's probably just as well to have something pretty foul smelling on the end of their drag, just in case a auntie leaps out from behind a gateway and grabs hold of it and says this is just a clean silk hanky or something. And of course, the other thing is you don't want your trail layer getting mixed up with the stop at the meet, or if there's a check or wherever the hounds are, and he's stood in the middle discussing the next draw with the huntsman, and the lure is just dangling down in front of old Dreadnought's nose and he's paying no attention to it. It's pretty obvious it's no good for anything. A lot of people in the past have tried to say, oh, we laid trails earlier or we laid them the day before. In a situation where you've got saboteurs out or antis or whatever, that's not really going to work too well. We need to have clear and visible trail laying going on the day, and it needs to be as plausible as possible. That has got to be the key lesson in all of this.
I'm going to start talking about planning your day. Beagle packs, I'll start with beagle packs. Currently, most beagle packs go home if SABs or monitors are present. This is the safe and sensible course of action. Although it can seem defeatist and it feels like they're winning, it is far better than a court case and then they really are winning. And just remember, you know, you're on foot and you're very, very susceptible. Depending on how aggressive and unpleasant they are, you might consider hound exercise or hunting a trail if it is in a place safe to do so.
Remind me, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 or 4. There are always a small handful of cases going on, and most of them, with a little bit of luck and care and attention, we win because we're getting better at it, and we're getting better at exempt hunting, trail hunting. But what really drives both of us up the wall is when we get people who have been prosecuted for some aspect of their behaviour, either for being abusive, threatening, punching somebody, or hitting somebody with their whip, whatever it may be. And I would just ask you all to remember that we are all responsible for our own behaviour.
Now, believe it or not, these guys think they're above the law. And violence is a big factor. A big factor on these hunts. A lot of these guys are up on horseback with whips in the hand. They use them quite readily. And as you can see, they're getting away with it. They're trying to get away with it. He's very careful how he words everything. I mean, they don't know that this is going to go public, but he's still being very, very careful how he words things. And this is what they all do. This is how they work. They've got to be very, very careful to paint the right picture. And people kicking off at the SABs and being violent, it's not good for them. It's not good for them. But we've already heard that Richard Tyack say, if we come out with the hounds, if we come out with the beagles and the hunt sabs, you're better off going home. Why? If what they're doing is legal, why would it be better off going home? I don't understand. What you're doing is illegal, guys. What you're doing is legal, perfectly legal. What you're doing, trail hunting, is perfectly legal. All you're doing is following a trail with the hounds. So why would it be a better option to go home if hunt sabs are there? Really strange.
Masters and our hunt staff behaviour and our hunt followers' behaviour, and so defending prosecutions or complaints about our behaviour is really not on, and we can't afford to do it, and I don't think you can afford to do it either. So please, first step of all, make sure everybody behaves properly and doesn't encourage people to make complaints against them by their behaviour during the course of this season or any time in the future. Really important point. And the other point I'd like to make is towards the end of his presentation, what Phil said is there are no interviews, friendly interviews with police officers.
If you notice in the background, this is the Hunt Saboteurs' own footage. If you're wondering what that is in the background. What's happening here is the Hunt Saboteurs are giving the view with the written text on the bottom, and they're also interlacing this video with actual footage, saying the complete opposite of, or confirming what this guy's saying about disgraceful behaviour and violent behaviour towards them. So this isn't what these guys are playing. This is everything on this background here with the hunt sabs is their footage, what they've got on actual hunting trips, filming what's going on.
Oh, sorry, I've got one more thing. The police interviews and inquiries. By the police. I hope there are no police officers listening. There is no such thing as an off-the-record chat with a policeman. Okay? They will come up to you, put their arm around your shoulder, come on the boy, tell me what's happened. Don't fall for that trap. If you were cautioned with the words, you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence, just latch on to, you do not have to say anything. You don't have to answer any questions. Deflect answering until you know what the allegation is. What kind of stuff do you want these evidence gathering people to record? I want them to record horn blowing, spraying, hollering, amplified hound music, and interference with a trail. Now, you know more about hunting than saboteurs or the courts will know. But what it will do is create that smoke screen, or that element of doubt that we haven't deliberately hunted a fox. So if nothing else, you need to record that, and it'll help us provide a defence to your huntsman.
And it's all about organisation. So you can see how important it is for the huntsman to be involved and updated by radio or whatever, so that he can avoid them. If he can keep out of the way, it's to everybody's benefit. He needs constant information so that he can keep adapting his plan. If SABs and monitors never see the hounds, or never see them hunting, and never have a chance to interrupt them, they soon lose interest. Equally, if you're going for a team of stewards, preferably SIA trained, it's perfectly possible to get your volunteers SIA trained. It's not vastly expensive. Voluntary or professional, to prevent anti-stress fitting, you need seriously good organisation. And again, the huntsman needs to be part of this. He needs to be part of the plan, and he needs to buy into this. You can't just pay stewards and think you can carry on and go hunting and they will solve your problem.
And lastly, Christopher Minter is asking that he's concerned about the risk that body cameras might record accidents in which hounds appear to be hunting live quarry, and could film be used in a discovery process in a legal case, and are recordings capable of really permanent deletion?
My view on that, Mr. Chairman, is that body-worn video cameras, they've got a lovely big red button on them, or you can have it on the button coming down your sleeve, and you can be selective as to when you turn on the video recorder on and the video recorder off.
I would like to start off, please.
Oh, nice bit of police information there. Nice bit of 30 years police inspector information there. Yeah, that's how the police act as well. Or you can turn it on and turn it off when you want. You can create your own story.
I'm asking Mark Hankinson, the director, to talk to us about the law. Mark, over to you, please.
Chairman, thank you very much, and good evening and welcome to everyone. So effectively, it's illegal to intentionally hunt a wild mammal with more than 2 dogs. But as you see, as we go down, there's quite a few exemptions. So obviously, trail hunting, which is our main card, is the critical one there. It's legal to hunt rabbits and rats, and many of you may remember Nick Valentine and his pack of putty bassets who used to travel the land, partly causing chaos, but having a lot of fun legally hunting rabbits wherever he went. Bird of prey, the law states you can use a pack of dogs to flush a wild mammal to be hunted by a bird of prey. Now that's a terribly good wheeze for holding up, and I think that everyone during autumn hunting ought to be considering that. 2 dogs flushing to a gun, obviously in Scotland they can use a whole pack.
So they're using a loophole. They're using a loophole there. You can use a pack of dogs when you're flushing flushing prey out that's going to be hunted by a bird of prey. So they found a loophole. So are we going to see hunts going out with dogs, and they're always going to have somebody with a bird of prey in their arm? Is that going to be the loophole? Slimy bastards.
And then they can hunt a wounded fox. Here, obviously, the staghounds will use...
Let's just go back on that one a second.
Ought to be considering that. 2 dogs flushing to a gun, obviously in Scotland they can use a whole pack, and then they can hunt a wounded fox. Here, obviously, the staghounds will use 2 hounds to flush to a gun, because the harbourer then dispatches the stag when it's brought to bay. Not an awful lot of help to us. At the end of the day, I did try it once, and it was a bit of a waste of time. And again, we did try getting the law changed, but that nice woman in Scotland pulled the plug on us when we tried to get that.
Oh, what a fucking shame.
Terrier work. This is our soft underbelly. A lot of people would say that if you're going trail hunting, why do you need terrier men following you around? Yes, it is totally legal for them to be out doing everything if they follow the correct exemptions, but it does flag up a bit of a marker to everyone. Why do you, as trail hunting, do you need them there? So just do bear that one in mind. And one last key thing with the terrier work exemption is that the actual digging process is not to get to the fox, it is to rescue the terrier if it's in danger. So it's worth remembering that. And also, as far as our legal fee scheme is concerned, only terrier men that are licensed with us are covered by that. The law does state that one dog...
So, for those of you who don't know what terrier men are, when a fox goes underground into its burrow, or into a burrow, maybe a badger's burrow, terrier men, the dogs, go down the hole and they locate it and dig the fox out, and the terriers chase the fox out to release it. So why do they need terrier men on these trail hunts? Why do they need terrier men? They don't, obviously. But now they're using it as another sort of get out of jail free card. That, oh, the terrier men, we don't use them, but they come along with us, and one of the dogs got stuck down the hole, so we had to dig it out, and lo and behold, there was a fox.
Maybe used to ground too flush to a gun. In theory, I suppose that's someone standing there with a shotgun standing over the hole, but use of nets and a humane killer has been proved acceptable, so that's fine. If nothing else, you can just sort of point to the distance. If you've got the police there or some member of the public causing a fuss, you can say, look, there's our trailer over there on the distance on the skyline, or he's just down there in the wood, you can see he's got a tabard on or something like that. I also feel it's quite important that you have almost a primary trail layer who puts some scent on a trail and lays it. Don't forget, at the end of the day, it's a far more serious offence to commit perjury in court than it is to be prosecuted under the Hunting Act. And if you're going to be under cross-examination in a courtroom and someone says, well, Mr. Jones, what were you using as a scent? And you say, well, I don't really know. Didn't you see the scent being put on, or did you not put the scent on the trail yourself? Not sure. You're going to find yourself in an awkward position. Some people say, well, what's the point of laying trails? Well, I think it's fairly self-explanatory. If you haven't laid a trail on a daily basis, you're not going to be covered by the insurance. You know, we've been there before with the sort of no evidence, and it just doesn't work. We've got to have the evidence there if we're going to take it forward. These court cases are extremely expensive, and every time it goes badly wrong for us, we take quite a financial hit.
Oh, what a fucking shame.
The police are not prepared to support us when we have problems with saboteurs if we can't prove quite conclusively that we're not taking the mickey and just using this as a shield.
As the chairman just said, I was marshalling officer in Birthday for 12 seasons and hunted the hounds for the last 3. And during that time, we were sabbed by Brighton, Guildford and Croydon. And a couple of things I would say, and add to that, is that we always say, get one in the can. It's absolutely vital. If where you can, it's not always possible, depending on where you're meeting, but if you can get one in the can, you are doing what Mr. Hankinson's already explained is important. And you are proving your intent was to go and hunt within the law. So if you have a filmed video at 11:15 or 11:20 or 11:30, and you have it in the can, and you have a trail laid and hounds and video evidence of hounds hunting that trail, albeit for 2 or 3 minutes, you have one in the can, which demonstrates that you clearly were going hunting to hunt within the law and simulate a day's hunting as it used to be. By collating evidence and having a good trail laying team, it was vital that we had that, which would enable us then to be able to go and do what we all want to go and do. So this wasn't about turning the Old Sarum Burstdown West Kent into a trail laying pack. It was about giving us the support and the protection that we needed.
Fucking hell, that's damning, innit? So what they were saying, I mean, you all know what they were saying anyway, but I'll say it again, is gather the evidence, gather some video evidence of them doing what they're supposed to do. Once they've got that film, in the can means like in filming terms, is once it's in the can, the old film, once it's in the can, that's it. They've got it. They've got the film. So once they've got that evidence of them following the trails being laid, them following those trails, and that is all recorded on a video, and that's nice and safe, then they can go out and do what the fuck they want. Which is hunting real foxes. Fucking slimy fat toad.
Approximately now 2 seasons ago, we were hunting a very popular meet. We had sort of 100 mounted, and it was a good day everyone was looking forward to. It became clear at 12 o'clock midday that we had been infiltrated by some 40 to 50 hunt saboteurs from both Guildford and Brighton. And it was at that point that we decided, the Master of the Day decided, that we should revert to Plan B. Plan B being, obviously, using our team to lay trails for the rest of the day, because it became clear that the antis that had arrived were only there for one thing. So the huntsman, Mark Bycroft, had actually been walking the country as he would have done with the Master of the Day 2 days before, but he'd also been walking it with his head trail there. And so when the Master of the Day said, I've got to peel off now, we know what Plan A is, it's for you now to go and sort Plan B. Off they went, and they discussed where, if there was a problem, they would lay trails, coordinates, things that would stand out if they were filmed. And they spent another hour and a half walking around the country, deciding where they would lay trails. If
Building alibis.
I hope I've demonstrated to you just one small example. I could give you 20, 30, 40 even, but I hope I've identified shown you one small day where without it we would have been in a lot of bother.
What was that then? What was he about to say then?
And they spent another hour and a half.
What? Did he say a loophole?
Deciding where they would lay trails if they needed to. I hope I've demonstrated to you just one small example. I could give you 20, 30, 40 even, but I hope I've identified shown you one small...
A fucking loophole!
Without it, we would have been in a lot of bother.
I was master of the Clifton Foot and then the Chilmartin and Clifton Foot Beagles for 23 years. Part of which was pre-ban and for 8 years after the ban. But also I was, throughout that period, I spent 30 years as a serving police officer in Avon and Somerset before I retired. So if you're in kennels and some police turn up, they can come in if they're going to deal with you for the offence. They can search the kennels, and if there's a computer there they think there's evidence on, they will seize it. Similarly, they will seize mobile phones and things like that, again, looking for evidence. So something for your hunt staff and terrier men, trail layers, everybody to consider. If you're recording evidence for a hunting act, trail laying, whatever, don't use the same phones or anything where you've been using the social media and bragging about what you've been doing out hunting. Because if the police get hold of it, you'll get both sides of it.
The next question, or the last question rather, is there any risk with something like a GoPro that it could be confiscated by police and may accidentally have footage that is incriminating? Well, the answer is yes, that might be, and Paul was talking about it a couple of minutes ago. So please, those of you who are filming and recording, please don't stand there recording the opposition firing their gizmos and blowing horns and say, isn't that marvellous that they haven't seen us because we've just caught a fox behind them, or something like that. I mean, you've got to be very careful about who's saying what. Anything that comes out of these meetings is to be kept amongst ourselves. It's not for general coverage.
Yes! Fucking hell. Fucking hell. That's damning. They've got 2 coppers there, 2 retired coppers with 30-year services, telling them what they should do, how to react to the police, what they should do, what should they do with the evidence, watch what they do on social media. That whole 18 minutes there was cut down from like 3 hours of chats. Like I said before, you can get the full footage of the videos, but a lot of it's just blah 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 blah. But those are the key points that the Hunt Sabs have gone through. The HSA, the Hunt Sab Association, have gone through and found the key points there. So what do you make of it? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to keep the legitimate, lawful sport going? Or are they trying to figure out ways of reverting back to hunting foxes? I think it's quite fucking obvious. I mean, they have said that this was taken out of context. I don't think so. I think Lord Hortitor and his band of merry men, ex-coppers and all that, they're going to have a bit of a struggle. But there is some good news come out of this. Because Forestry England have announced today, we have now suspended all licences for trail hunting in the nation's forests. This is in response to confirmation that the police are investigating webinars hosted by the Hunting Office. We do not intend to make any further comments until the police have concluded their investigations. And I asked my guys on the inside, what's next? And their reply was they are going to be, let's have a look. Yeah, they're going to be putting pressure on the National Trust, who own a hell of a lot of land. So it is a victory. It is a victory. So we can go, yes, it's a big victory. No more hunting no more licenses for hunting in the national forests. They're going to put pressure on the National Trust. But what worries me is these people's stature in society. And it's still a sport of the upper classes. And the upper classes always have a knack of speaking to the right person, bunging a bit of money the right way, and getting what they want. So I'm not going to hold my breath yet. But for now, just for now, it looks like we've got a small victory. So thank you for watching. I'll put the links to all this below. Please support Manchester Hunt Sabs. Please support the Hunt Saboteur Association any way you can. Either become members, send them messages of support, contribute, send them money, donations, whatever. But they are doing an absolute sterling job. It's taken 15 years to get a result like this. Little victories all the way along, of course, convictions and criminal things in courts, but this is, I would say, is a major victory. But it's not the end of it. Save the foxes, save the animals, save the planet, save yourself. Go vegan. And Lord fucking arsehole, I'm going to knock you off your fucking arse.